Well, it's Tuesday Wrestling, and you all know what that means. Today, as you know, we have NWA Powerrr still in Robarts doing the same old thing. But we do have some interesting matches taking place. Three title matches. The NWA Women's World Tag Team titles are also in line with a very interesting twist that no one expected. And of course, the NWA Women's World title is also on the line. And then, of course, the main event features EC3 defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against a former champion, and that is Jack Sane. And then we move on, of course, with NXT. It does start with, of course, the first day of the annual Dusty Rhodes Classics. We're going to see how these teams will do. So this is only the first round, and we have plenty other matches taking place as well. But since we are in Tuesday Wrestling, first things first, we're going to review, of course, uh, a Japanese promotion, P.P.P Tokyo, with their much recent event that took place also on a Tuesday called the New Year Party. This features 5 matches, very interesting ones we're going to see. So I'm very looking forward to reviewing all of it, what's going on with everybody. But also, we're going to end this with some news updates that tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as updates with the promotions, with who is booked, what matches are set, and of course, developments that have been happening in the world pro wrestling that the world needs to know about. For example, one of them is Juria Nagano, her reason why she's graduating from Tokyo Pro Wrestling, and plenty other more stuff. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Lead It Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews with different wrestling promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, faction storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates in case if I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. And of course, real timing on the news updates on what's been happening as well, and plenty other cool stuff as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click to the subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or leave us a nice comment in the description down below. Now, let's begin with our very first review. It is from Japanese promotion P.P.P Tokyo. Now, if you guys never seen this promotion, go on YouTube and you'll check it out. You can actually see many of their live shows, and this is their recent one. It came out on a Tuesday. So this one is called the New Year Party. So this features a lot of good matches here, including um, very surprising wrestlers that you may have seen either in the Yoshi world or in the freelance world as well. So first things for, but this particular event took place in Shinjuku FACE. Anybody is wondering? It started out with a dark match. I don't know why, but they have two wrestlers I never heard of. One named Love Doll Jr. and the other one is Mazako Kid. Hopefully I pronounced it right. If not, then yeah, I slapped myself in the head for this. Uh, Not gonna lie. I mean, I wasn't too much pumped on this, but let's just skip ahead on this one because I feel like this guy Manzako and Kin picked up the win by applying a very long distance frog splash. I mean, Love Doll Jr. wasn't even halfway from the ring. That's what's striking, and he picked up the win. I thought he must have botched it up, but I'm going to presume that these guys are rookies. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to presume they're rookies, and nothing against rookies, but I'm sure they'll learn from the mistakes. Now, let's start with the real main card shows, matches that are involved in this particular event by P.P.P Tokyo. We have Marika Kobashi teaming up with the Menace, Momoka Hanazono, and they take on Miyuki Takase and Maya Yukihi. Now, if you guys know this, recently I did review DPW. Miyuki Takase is wearing the DPW World Women's title around her waist. I did not expect that she was going to take that with her, but she did. So basically, I'm not sure if she's helping to get recognition for U.S. promotions here in the United States, for the Japanese families to pay attention. But nonetheless, of course, there were some moments. I always say the Menace, Hanazono. You know how she is when it comes to the ring. She has these unorthodox way of picking a win, but unfortunately, it did not happen. Apparently, in the end of this, Mayuhiki, who is extremely amazing, pulled off a very interesting submission move on Marika Kobashi, and I was like, whoa, I don't know what to call it. So let's just call it a submission move. So she pulled it up, and just like that, Yuki Takase and Mayuhiki pick up the win. So wow, that's pretty cool. Now our next match, we have a very intergender tag team match. We have Makoto, Yuko Miyamoto, and Ichika Miyabi taking on Riara, Yumehito Inamari, and Tsurumi Natsu. Of course, this is going to be interesting. One thing led to another, of course. Makoto, Miyamoto, and Ichika immediately attacked their opponents right away. So there were going to be some interesting moments. But of course, I was seeing how you see Ichika actually go straight ahead against Tsurumi Natsu. She picked up a very good win on her because the reason is this: she did like some sort of like a choke slam power bomb. Like she lifted her up like if you're gonna do a choke slam, and then she did like a power bomb sitting down power bomb maneuver. I'm not sure what to call that, but she picked up the win. But however, she actually put out a promo. Now, those who don't know this, Ichika Miyabi is a transgender wrestler. Um, Recently, she did announce that she was planning to get reincitement surgery. She's going to be out for quite a while. Don't know how long. So it's kind of interesting that she is making this announcement, so fans don't have to worry too much where she's at. But she did state that she'll be back stronger than ever, that she's always been, and we'll see how that turns out from here on out. Now, our next match, we have women's singles action. We have Chanyota taking on Ryu Mizunami. Yeah, so yeah, it's the same Ryu Mizunami who was in the first ever AEW Double or Nothing show back in 2019. It's the same one. So yeah, she faces Chanyota. Now, this is a very interesting match. Chanyota has least experience wrestling, but she has been one of those wrestlers that many fans have kept their eye on. Now, of course, there's been a lot of controversy towards her about her side gig. So I would say this: screw that part. Okay, the girl can wrestle. That's all I can say. But nonetheless, Chanyota is a very amazing bodybuilder. She works out a lot. She flexes her muscles. You probably would think this is a match, strength versus strength, power versus power. That was one of those matches why it was set upon. But unfortunately, Ryu Mizunami picked up a really good win on this one. Now in the post match, Mizunami did a promo and she tried to, I don't know what she was saying to Chanyota, but we had a very surprising guest made her appearance. We're talking about Passion herself, Nanane Takahashi. So basically, I don't know what she's saying, but I wouldn't presume either they're going to team up or have a singles match. I don't know, but seems like it was exciting. But yes, it was a lot of fun. Now, our next match, this one had a very interesting thing. Now, earlier before the start of the show, there were 8 competitors that were in the ring. However, some were in tag teams, some others were in the group. Apparently, they put like a not a draw, but more like pull your name out of the hat who's going to be in what team, that sort of thing. So we had a mixture of people involved. We have, of course, the boss of P.P.P Tokyo, Kabuto Mitomi. He teams up with Takayuki Yuiki, um, Ayate Yoshida, and Koji Doi. They take on Andy Wu, Gaia Mox, Dajimonji So, and Joji Otomi. So that's the match how it is. But it was a pretty good match, not gonna lie. I mean, Otani, he's one of those wrestlers that he looks like he's the weakest link, but the dude don't judge him by excuse me, by his size, but the dude has a fighting spirit in his heart. I can tell you that much. So I was impressed by this match how it was. But of course there was moments where you see of course Daimoji So, who's like the most dominant person in his team, tried to pick up the win, but however, it did not go exactly according to plan because it was the boss himself, Mitomi, who picked up a good win when he applied the crucifix bomb onto Gaia Hawks, and 1, 2, 3, it was over right from there. So don't ever piss off the boss. Now, finally, our main event features Kentaro Hashizu taking on the man, the myth, the legend, Masato Tanaka. Now, I have seen Hashizu takes on the biggest challenges of his life. I mean, the most recognizable competitors, the strongest, all of that. But the dude always shows promising every single time I watch him. I mean, I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying this guy has shows a lot of fire. Much like Chanyota, he also has least experience, but he learns as he goes. And I think that's important right there. But unfortunately, it didn't do any well for him because he ended up on the wrong side of the sliding lariat by Tanaka, and it was over right from there. But it was a pretty good show, not gonna lie. But during the post match promo, as I mentioned, Ichika Miyabi will be out. Even Chanyota addressed about that, saying she feels like she's gonna be alone for a while because apparently she is trying to self develop herself as well. And she did announce somewhere that she's going to do a somewhat a self produced show. I'm not sure if I heard that completely. I even read about that on the Twitter page, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward what this promotion is going to do, and we'll see what happens from here on out. So I think that's it with this promotion. Let's move on with NWA Powerrr. Okay, the start of the new year for NWA Powerrr, so we are going to get started on that right now. So it opened up with the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line. We have Ruthie J and a former Women's Tag Team champion, Misa Kate. They team up to take on Pretty Empower, Kenzie Page, and Ella Envy. However, there was a certain twist to this that happened. Ella Envy was not there. Apparently, she couldn't be there. However, they could have. Apparently, there was talks about maybe how do I say, having Pretty Empower relinquish their belts since they were unable to defend them. However, Kylie Page decided I'm not going to allow that to happen, so she decided to go at it alone. So you can say it's foolish, but she was no Pretty Empower, who has shown that they are the ones that are the most dominant unit in NWA. Is not going to let that happen. So the match was pretty well. You probably would have thought, okay, NWA Kylie Page would have lost this match, but however, those different security guys for Pretty Empower got involved by trying to set up Misa Kate using the tag belt as a weapon. However, while the referee's back was distracted, um, Kylie's big sister, Kenzie Page, showed up and decided to give a helping hand. So apparently that didn't do any well. Apparently, of course, Ruthie J and Misa Kate were not happy with what just happened because of the dang security getting involved. However, while this match was officially over, out of nowhere, it just strictly jumped ahead to the next one with Samantha Starr, who was not going to wait on, of course, on her match. So she decided, let's get it over with. And of course, Kenzie Page did not like that. Well, she was already outside, and the match would have fallen in favor in Samantha Starr. However, Kenzie Page, who was scared to lose her belt, decided to fake an injury and then applied the Kenzie Cutter, retaining the top. So this is the kind of things Pretty in Power it does. I wouldn't be surprised about what's going to happen next, because as soon as that happens, Samantha Starr's assistant tried to check up on her, but Kenzie Page got in her face. But of course, Kenzie Page got her ass whooped by Samantha Starr. I wouldn't be surprised if Samantha Starr forms her own unit in order to stop Pretty in Power. That's something that is a possibility, but we only can wait and see if that ever happens. Now, our next match, next interview with Kyle Davis. As you know, Tom Latimer is not a happy camper. Now, reason is this why. There were a lot of high hopes with him to become NWA World Heavyweight Champion, but there was a lot of twists and turns that makes him irritated. For example, Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona got involved in this match, causing a distraction, but also causing Tom Latimer to lose this match. The reason is this: Matt Cardona thinks he can defeat EC3. That's for the title. And now Tom Latimer feels like it's a load of horse crap that I got screwed and he gets a title match. So he's feeling like, I don't give a damn anymore. If that's how people are going to play games like that, well, I can do it too. So we'll see what helps. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, he gets back in the picture, in the conversation for the NWA World Heavyweight title. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match is a tag team match. Country Gentlemen, AJ and Casey Kazana, taking on Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch. Now, last time we know that Murdoch completely lost control of himself, frustrated because of that weasel, Aaron Stephen, who cost Murdoch and Knox the opportunity to become tag team champions, getting himself involved. So now he had his control of his composure, managed to do that. So, however, he feels that this match could potentially help him to get back into the conversation as well. So, I have to say they did learn a lot in this particular match. One thing is very interesting is how this match goes out and about. However, they were able to apply the high-low onto AJ Kazana, and Mike Knox picked up the win to pinfall. Now, this is what happened. This little midget dude, I don't know who he is, showed up out of nowhere and attacked Murdoch, thinking he got away with it, but he got pancaked by Knox. So I hope that serves him right not to get involved in his matches. I hate to see Knox get so frustrated how things are not going their way. Now, our next interview, once again with Kyle Davis, we have the Southern Six. As you know, there's going to be a new pay-per-view coming up on the 13th of January. They announced that Southern Six will be facing an unknown opponent. However, they are not too concerned because they often said they're going to rule this entire business, and that's exactly what they've been doing since day one. So they're not concerned who their opponents are. They're not concerned who it is, and that's how it's going to go. So I'm sure Kyle Davis is concerned because you're not well prepared who you're going to face, because this is where you don't even know who your opponents are. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our main event, we have the NWA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Jack Stane as the challenger, taking on EC3. I think this match did help out a lot because Jack Stane, who's been NWA World Heavyweight Champion before, of course, this was going to be one of those matches where he has to pull up everything. But however, EC3 has shown why he is the most dominant one now, and who is the current guy who is leading NWA into the future. Not to mention, he has his own territory in a different location. But it was, of course, the one percenter. It took only three one percenters for EC3 to put away Jack Stain, and that was over. And I think that was what a real good match to EC3. And then, of course, at the end of the match, Jack Stain showed respect to EC3. I think he feels now that the World Heavyweight title is in good hands. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen from here on out, and of course the upcoming pay-per-view on the 13th. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Now let's move on to our final review, NXT. Okay, our final review, NXT. Now, it's been 1 week so far since New Year's Evil with the incredible matches they have. Now, we started out well, this became like a grudge match. As you know, months ago, Nikita Lyons was viciously attacked by an unknown assailant, and later that assailant revealed to be Blair Davenport, and she revealed herself that she was the one behind those attacks. And of course, Nikita Lyons, who came back, gave her a big boot in the face, came back for payback for what Blair Davenport did to her. And of course, Blair Davenport at the time, recently, as you know, was focusing on the NXT Women's Championship. And of course, Nikita Lyons would love nothing more to break her head off. And that's exactly what was going on. Now, when Nikita Lyons arrived, Blair Davenport once again tried to sneak attack her. It backfired, but the match, their fight continued on. Even when the match was supposed to be on, they even were ready. Then boom, it all went ahead. So it became a chaotic scene. And then of course, you don't know how this was going to end up, but it was Blair Davenport with the knee strike on Nikita Lyons to pick up the win. So the obvious question I asked myself, is this really over between both Blair Davenport and Nikita Lyons? I would say yes and no. I mean, Davenport, I know her initial objective is the NXT Women's title. But Nikita Lyons, well, we know she has the title in sight as well, but she wants payback for, of course, Blair Davenport taking months out of her career being sidelined. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, as you know, Trick Williams is very disappointed how things went down in New Year's Evil. Dragunov was unable to compete due to an injury. However, Mello understands his frustration, but Mello came up with a pretty nice idea. He told him that he put himself and Trick Williams in the final spot of the Dusty Rhodes Classics. Now, Trick was a bit more not adamant, like not sure if this is the right call, but Mello made a very fantastic idea. Reasons why. He said, look, if I win the tag team if we win the entire thing, I can become a Triple Crown champion. Don't forget, he has been North American champion and NXT champion. So it's true. If he wins the tag team titles, that makes him Triple Crown champion. But he did tell him, but if you win the tag team title, it's a possibility you can become two-trick champion. So basically, he made him realize, well, that is true. That could happen. So he accepted the idea. Let's go. So, but their match doesn't happen possibly till next week. But we'll see from here on out where to go. Now, we start with day one of this. Excuse me. All right. Now, as you know, we start day one of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. We have the first round. First we have is Galas, consisting of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, along with Joe Coffey by their side, taking on a very interesting duo, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. Now, let me recap about these two guys, why they become a tag team. Baron Corbin approached Braun Breaker, asking them, let's team up. Of course, Braun was like, why should I? So he's telling him, hey, look, I'm an a-hole, you're an a-hole. Besides, no one's coming asking you to team up, right? So basically, Braun Breaker realized he's right. No one has asked him. No one possibly is going to ask him at all. But so that's how it's happened. But the one thing that is the obvious question as a fan, can both Braun Baker and Baron Corbin can coexist? That is the question, because you got to remember, these two guys have big egos. That's obvious. But you look at Gallus, they are a stable team. They've been together for years. That's the reason they're more cohesive. But there was a moment where, of course, Baron Corbin blindly tagged himself in from Braun Breaker. But however, it was, of course, Wolfgang was about to make the initial attack, but Braun speared um, Wolfgang, but it was Baron Corbin with the final touch with the end of days onto Mark Coffey. They pick up the win and they advance into the semi round. So you can say it was a very close one, but their luck could actually run out. But the only question is, when will that happen? We'll see. But they have shown they are a dominant team. I mean, this is just one match, so we'll see where that leads us from here on out. Now, throughout the entirety of the entire show, you see Tiffany Strand, who lost to Fallon Henley, who insulted her and her family about living in a farm. Well, the initial stipulation, if Tiffany lost, she has to work in the farm. And she showed up in a very inappropriate attire. Now, I never worked in a farm, just to put that on the record, but I do know how people are dressed when they are working in a farm. So basically, I don't know what Tiffany Strand, so she had the most difficult time ever. But towards the end, of her little segment, uh, she was given a bath or something, But well, that's what happens when she opens her mouth. But we'll see where that leads us from here. Now, as you know, Lyra Valkyria was successful in defending the NXT Women's Championship, so that was a good thing. However, she's looking for competition. That's the obvious thing that she's looking for. So she went to talk to Ava and told her that we're going to have, for next week, there's going to be a 20 women battle royale, but the final four will determine by pinfall or submission who's going to win to become the next number one contender. Now, while that was been announced, Lola Vice showed up. As you know, basically, Lola Vice is the winner of the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. So basically, she has a contract and she initially can cash in and challenge for the NXT Women's title. However, Lyra Valkyria made it clear, I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to fight for a fight. But however, she did say, you said you're an MMA background woman, but the way I see it, you're not the woman who people say you are. Basically, that's what she's saying. She wants that person. But however, she feels that, all she does is talk and take no action. That's always been the clear case. However, later this thing became a 2-on-1 scenario, and all of a sudden, here comes Tatum Paxley showing up to help her out. I mean, it is kind of creepy, but nonetheless, and I don't think neither Lola Vice or Elektra Lopez expected her to show up, but she did. Now, as you know, Men of Four are making fun of what happened about last week. As you know, Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, and Fallon Henley went their separate ways. So they think that they are the reason that they caused for them to break up. Now, initially, that's not what really happened. Brooks Jensen saw in the eyes of Josh Briggs that yes, that just look, you don't have to lie to me. You know you want to go singles competition. So he wants him to admit it. So they try to take care of it. But however, Josh Briggs shows and ruined their party by saying, if it wasn't for your little sidekick here for losing the match, and of course Oro Menza took offense that that he's being called a psychic. Well, you can say he seems like a psychic, but yes. Now, Ava Rain, as you know, who I don't know what's her job, but she has to deal with a lot of crap, with people trying to do things and that. However, she runs into Dragon Lee, who apologized to Ava Rain after what happened last week. Of course, he's saying that that he's ready to go, ready to challenge and all that. However, here comes Lexis King. Now, keep in mind, Lexis King was looking for a way to get to the top. So he said he had a contract saying that he will challenge for the North American title. And of course, uh, Lee accepted it and he called him a cabron. And he asked Ava, what does that mean? Don't worry about it. Now, we jump into our next match, Oro Mensa versus Josh Briggs. Now, Josh Briggs, as you know, was not happy with the fact that the sidekick, Oro Mensa, got involved in his Heritage Cup match. So that kind of puts it out in a way. However, of course, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend were going to interfere, and so was Noam Dar. But unfortunately, it did not fail. Oro Mensa tried to do the spinning heel kick, but it failed again. And this time, Josh Briggs applied a lariat onto Oro Mensa. 1, 2, 3 is over. However, he wanted Josh Briggs, Noam Dar, to look that he's coming for him no matter what. So if I'm Noam Dar, I would proceed it, even though this is going to be a difficult time. Now, our next match is the NXT Tag Team titles. We have OTM, Lucia Price, and Bronco Lima taking on the family of Tony D'Angelo and Stax, along with the glue of the family, Rizzo, on their side. So you probably remember OTM had a deal with them over some money and stuff in order to get their shots of the tag team titles. However, you probably would have assumed that there was going to be some dirty tricks around. However, Scripps tried to get involved, but thank God for Rizzo, who helped them out, caused the match, and then of course Tony D'Angelo applied the pinfall onto Lucian Price. 1, 2, 3, they retained the titles. Now, NXT Anonymous has strike again, but this time he was spying on the people of Chase U. As you know, Jay-Z Jane said last week that that she will come up with the money to save Chase University. The obvious question is how. Now, not much of the plan was revealed, but looks like they were planning it anyway. So we'll see where that goes. Now, during an interview with Kelly Kincaid, she interviews the winner of the men's NXT Breakout Tournament, Obafemi. So basically, he knows how much this meant to him. But however, Lexis King, who shows up to rub on his face, as you know, saying, "I get the North American title shot." So basically, he was trying to tell him, "Well, good luck when you cash it in." But Obafemi is like saying, "The match he's in, is that in the main event?" "Yes." "I got to keep an eye on that one." So basically, I don't know what he was thinking, but I kind of figured he has a plan. I'm not sure. But of course, Lexis King, I have to say, this is his fault for causing it. Now, our resident mean girl, as you know, has come back, and of course, she's now causing a lot of disrespect with the women's locker room, saying that the entire NXT women's division is a mess ever since she left, and she thinks she's there to fix it. But Gigi Dolan is trying to deal with her. But of course, Cora Jade will try to find a way to pick up the win in any way possible. She even used the ref into her advantage until she applied a underhook DDT, and it was over right from there. Now, OTM, as you know, were not happy with things how turned out further in their match. However, they were surprised by a woman named Parker. She, who on the other hand, saying who had Rizzo on their sites. So they're like, nobody. So that was the problem. So they're saying Rizzo was the problem. So she decided, let's talk business with them. Now, Joe Coffey, as you know, he's not happy with the results that Gallus lost in the opening round of the Dusty Cup. He confronts Rich Holland. I don't know, I don't know what he's trying to do. He seems like he wanted to push his buttons, but Rich Holland is trying to hold his composure. But we'll see what happens between. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Rich Holland versus Joe Coffey. Now, our next match we have for another opening round of the Dusty Cup. We have what's their name? Oh yeah, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger taking on Axiom and Nathan Frazier. So Nathan Frazier learned his lesson. Don't open your big fat mouth. So that's exactly what he did. I have to say this is between strength and speed on both sides. However, speed played a pretty good part on this for excuse me. Bueno, Monday. Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Bye. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. That was my mother who's asking me for a favor. So anyway, let's get moving. As I said, we are now in another match, a second match in the opening round of the Dusty Cup. We have Hank Walker and Ted Ledger taking on Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Now, as you know, Nathan Frazier keeps opening his mouth, but I hope he learns his lesson. But however, this is a match between speed and strength. Now, will there be any difference? I could say there probably will be because we are seeing how good Axiom and Nathan Frazier is. Axiom pulled off the golden ratio onto Walker, but it was Frazier who did the final blow with the Phoenix Splash, advancing into the Dusty Cup. So we'll see what happens in the opening rounds from here on out. Now, as I mentioned, Dusty Cup, we do have Malik Blade and Edris Enofe who are in the tournament, but they're trying to show off what they can do for that. They feel like their time is now. But they were briefly interrupted by Brinley Reese. I don't know what she's trying to do. She seems like she's trying to get them into some sort of exercise or whatever. But yeah. Now moving on. We have the NXT North American title on the line. Dragon Lee defends it against Lexis King. Now, ever since Lexis King's arrival, he's been determined to get to the top at any means necessary. Don't forget, he cost Trey Bearhill his opportunity at the NXT Breakout Tournament. But, of course, he cost him that. Now, Trey Bearhill refuses to let go. He once again gets involved, thinking that this will cause a distraction. It kind of did, but they continued on. Nothing that Lexis King tried to do put him away, but it was Dragon Lee with Operation Dragon that put him away and retained the belt. However, during the post match, Oba Femi shows up and he decides to cash in his title shot opportunity. And he actually and it went through. So Dragon Lee, you can say he was barely survived against Lexis King uh, and picked up the win. But now he's uh, facing off a much fresher competitor. So that kind of puts it in a way like, does he know what he's doing? Well, we'll see where that. But Obafemi applied a power bomb. 1, 2, 3. Surprisingly, our brand new North American champion. I can't wait what's going to happen for next week. I'm sure Lexis King is going to complain that he stole his idea. Well, we'll see where that leads us. But for right now, I think we're done with all of our reviews. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with the updates with the promotions on their upcoming events. Let's begin with the GCW stuff. Um, as you know, they'll be in Chicago on the 12th of January for No Compadre. Now, one of the matches have been announced. The GCW title will be defended. Blake Christian defends it against what was it? Against Calvin Tankman. So that's going to be a very good match to enjoy. And of course, the following day, they head to Columbus, Ohio on the 13th of January for 56 Birds. The GCW Tag Team titles will be defended in a three-way. The current champions, Violence is Forever, Kevin Koo and Dominic Guarini, versus the rejects, Brent Reed and John Wayne Murdoch, versus Bang and Matthews. So that's going to be a very interesting match to enjoy. Now, as you may have known, Sareee, or as we know her in Japan, Sareee, we've been waiting for a while now for her next upcoming self-produced show. Sareee-ISM Chapter 3. Now, there was a lot of this particular event should have happened about a few months ago, but due to a typhoon that took place, it was completely postponed and rescheduled at another timing. However, Scott E. Edwards actually gave info what matches will be taking place. I already seen the first two chapters; they're very amazing. Um, we have this is the full card. Sareee will be facing against someone she hasn't beaten yet, and as Chihiro Hashimoto in a 60-minute time limit match. We have the Inaba sister, Azusa and Tomoka, taking on Miyu Momono and Riko Kawahara. Takumi Iroha will be facing against Miyuki Takase. We have Aja Kong and Jaguar Jakota teaming up. They're taking on against Chi-Chi and Kizuna Tanaka. Then finally, we have Arisa Nakajima and Coyote Ito taking on Unagi Sayaka and Kurumi Higare. So that's going to be an interesting of card. I think there's going to be some good matches in this one. Excuse me. Um, as you know, there's that one time a year with Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling, the Max Heart tournament. This is a tag team tournament that happens in um, in January all the way to February, and of course, they already announced who's participating in this particular thing. Now, this is who we have so far for this tournament. We have Miyu Yamashita teaming up with Toga, Yuki Arai teaming up with Wakana Uehara, Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Misao. No surprise there. Of course, Rika Tatsumi and Miyu Wanabe, they are also in it. Mizuki teaming with Shino Suzuki, Yuki Kamifuku and Mahito Kiru. That I've been aware. Naokakura and Imawari, Raku and Pamadajuku, Zumzumi and Arisu Endo, Moka Miyamoto and Juria Nagano, and of course Kaya Toribami and Haru Kazashiro. So those are the competitors involved. So do I have a specific ones do I think that could win? Look, right now, the one team I'm mostly interested in to see win is of course Zuzumi and Arisu Endo. They were so close in winning the vacancy of the tag titles, but hopefully they win this one. It could put them on the map for that. That's something I definitely could see. Now, British promotion RevPro has announced for their Live in London 82 event takes place on February 4th. They announced two matches. The first one is Minoru Suzuki taking on Leighton Buzzard. Now, I did mention that guy, Leighton Buzzard, in the last episode featured Big Japan and DDT collaborating. But yes, this is the first time. I did not know he's from this promotion, but it's interesting. However, as I mentioned in the last episode on the last news updates, Young Blood, Yuko Nakashima and Oscar Levy are now in their excursion. They just announced their first match in Rev Pro, and they're facing guys named Mark True and Kate Lacey. I don't know if that's pronouncing it. Yes. So they have their first match already been announced. And then finally, for the KAOZ Lucha Libre promotion, for the 39th anniversary of Blue Demon Jr., this one that will take place on the 24th of March. They announced Julissa, or as we know her in NXT, Julissa Leon, will be participating. So this is great thing to hear. Now, interesting developments have happened in pro wrestling, as you may have or may not have heard. Hijo de Vikingo has broke the record as the longest reigning AAA Mega Champion, beating Kenny Omega's record. So now he has surpassed about 766 plus days. So now he's longer than Kenny. Kenny had that belt longer than that. So it's very interesting to see that. But yes. Now finally, as you guys remember on the last episode during the news updates, Yoshi wrestler Juria Nagoya announced that she will be graduating from the promotion of Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. This is what details from the Dramatic DDT, a news outlet that does this. They're saying that graduation because she wants to focus on her career in the entertainment industry. Did not want to wrestle Hart because of it. So as you know, she injured her hand and all this. Now she did put out a statement about this, and this is what she said. Now this is why she chose to graduate. In the future, I would like to focus more on my work in the entertainment industry. I didn't want pro wrestling to end up half hearted because of that. Due to my broken hand, I was unable to do any other work, not just pro wrestling, for 6 months. So when I thought about my future life, I decided to graduate. There are many things that I wanted to achieve as a pro wrestling. However, there are many things that I have to do. So I made the decision. After graduation, I would like to support them as a fan. So basically, the injury sidelined her not only in wrestling in general, but also in other things that she's been involved in. Don't forget, she's a nurse and a an actress. So basically, she has 3 jobs. So as long as we know she'll be okay, that'll be fine. And it's great that she wants to continue supporting the promotion as a fan. That's great. So I'm really happy for her, and I wish nothing for the best. I hope I get to see the graduation, but we'll see from here on out. I think that's pretty much it with everything else. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Dynamite. They return to Daly's Place. We're going to see what great things is going to happen. I can't wait to see what awesome matches we're going to be watching. Now, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to put before that. I'm considering possibly putting Noah's The New Year that took place back on January 2nd. And of course, the last 2 shows with All Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll see from here on out where we go from there. I know I do have one show remaining from 2023 with Future Stars of Wrestling, which I haven't seen yet, but we'll see what happens here and out from then on. But for right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.